Hello, hello. This is Erica Greif of Becoming Luminous Women, and I welcome you here today to another episode of Shamanic Life Coaching Radio. It's been a little bit of time that I took off doing lots of projects and allowing this podcast to align with the highest places of service that I'm being asked to offer. And so today, I'd love to welcome you to a podcast about peace in times of suffering and how to align with our inner self flow and how it is crucial to do so at this time. So, allow yourself now to carve out this little bit of time to just breathe. Turn off social media, put your phone on vibrate. Give yourself this time. This will be a shorter episode than most, but potent. And know that you're just taking this time for you to align with what it is that your inner higher self is asking you to do right here, right now, today. And using my language, and if any of my language is foreign to you, just allow it to wash over and replace it with whatever words that feel best for you. And so in my language, I call a circle of sisters around us. See if you can feel yourself coming into a sacred circle. And surrounding us today are all of our wisdom, crone, medicine women. Past, present, and future. 13 grandmothers, all gathering around this circle, always with our fire of transformation in the center. Continuing to breathe here, continuing to give yourself permission to take your seat in this circle around the fire. And knowing that just by doing this, just by taking this time out for yourself to listen inwardly to what it is that needs honoring, that you yourself are walking the path of becoming luminous. Becoming luminous is right here, right now for you and for me. It is the path that we follow, allowing ourselves to show up with honor and courage, to be with our shadows, to walk with our shadows, to face them, to honor what it is that they bring for us. Staying with your breath now. Feel in to your inner reaction to what is happening planetarily right now for us. The storms that have come through in the South United States as well as the islands, in the southern regions, there has been so much devastation. People are without food, water. There seems to be a martial law happening in some areas. And, some of us can just close our eyes and pretend it's not happening. But if you're listening to this, I know you don't have that ability, nor do you want to have that ability, because you approach life with a heart of compassion. You naturally come into this life. You have chosen to come into this life to use your heart of compassion. We are absolutely in a transitionary period of a new dawn that the shamans have talked about, with the ending of the Mayan calendar in 2012. A new turning over. The Karo shaman call it the Pachacuti, the great turning over. Go ahead, and as you sit around this sacred circle, held and welcomed by others with the same frequency of compassion and love and a call of service within their system, a pull to be of service in this lifetime. Allow yourself to breathe and to listen to what is happening internally for yourself. And as the Buddhists tell us, suffering is a choice. How can we use our internal compassion to bring a higher place of service into the world? I feel like that is a question that many of us are constantly trying to answer for ourselves. I wonder if you can allow yourself to just take this moment and see if you can move past the suffering and find the answer. Now, how you say, Erica, how do I move past the suffering? Okay. So this is one of the core experiences that we work with in Becoming Luminous Women. In my coaching practice, as well as in my classes, is where when we come up against something within ourselves, resistance, rejection, fear, shame, guilt, when there is a push and a pull, most of us can experience this, or most of us do experience this, as the shadow self, the place of the unconscious, which is very interesting because we are in a place of awakening globally. Much of our unconscious is starting to come into the conscious. And these unconscious places, the shadow places, need honor. They are here to be honored. They are here to be recognized and allowed. Continuing to shame, to reject, and to push away the places of your shadow will only perpetuate suffering within you and within global consciousness. And so it is each one of our responsibilities to stand as the sovereign beings, as the beings who have their own personal inner authority that says, I see you, I honor you, I love you, I accept you, to your shadow. To the places that say, no, I don't want to, I don't want to heal. or the places that say, I'm not capable of healing, or I'm too broken, or it's all someone else's fault. These are places of suffering. Now, in no way would I ever intend, and do not intend here, to diminish someone's suffering. There has been unspeakable suffering, legacies of it. But in this time of awakening, we get a choice. We are finally having the awakened consciousness to say, I need something different. I need to operate differently in my life. And when we rise up and choose that, when we follow that shadow and allow its space, it begins to resolve or dissolve. That's a prayer that you can always bring to something that brings you suffering in your life. May it be resolved or dissolved. And then let it go into the universal Tao, into the flow of life. We are not meant to carry baggage. We are meant to be as the hummingbird, to go on our epic journey without baggage, without worrying about, oh, where's my next meal? The hummingbird internally trusts that she will know where to go, and if she chooses to drink only from the sweetest of nectar, only bringing into her life force, into her personal universe, what it is that supports her, what she needs. And this is not a selfish thing. This is a sovereign, internal authority. You get to say what you eat. You get to say what you think. You get to say what choices you make. And if we stand in that hummingbird place and take that perspective in our journey, one by one, our shadow, our suffering, individually and globally, can be allowed to release, dissolve, and resolve. This is also the path of the South, the Sachamama, the serpent. And this is based in Karo shamanism, which are the shamans from the high holy mountains of Peru, which I have been so blessed to work with. Sachamama is the direction of the South. The serpent has represented, which is the snake, has represented medicine in cultures as far back as I'm not even sure where it ends, where it began. You can see it, the catechus, which is the symbol with the serpent wrapped around the staff. The South, the serpent, represents our past. And when we approach our shadow, our suffering, from a place of allowing it to dissolve or resolve, we do what the Karos say is shedding our past the way the serpent sheds its skin. So for the serpent to rise, for the serpent to grow, it must shed a skin. It must release what it is that it has used to protect itself on the outside. And the hardest part for a snake to shed is its head. Just like us, our logic, our minds can get in the way if we are not anchored within the places that stabilize us. Within our moon cycle, understanding what phase you are in. Within our sister medicine, being able to come into circle and to share vulnerably and allow yourself to choose and ask for what you need. If we do not allow celebration medicine, where when we set forth in front of us a path to follow, a goal to complete, accountability, to hold ourselves accountable for, to fulfill the goals that we want to fulfill, the dreams. If we don't allow ourselves to celebrate periodically, quite frequently, then we don't get an opportunity to build up the inside so the skin on the outside can shed and there'll be a brand new skin on the inside. So those are 3 tools that I actually use in my practice with women. As we rub our heads on the rock, as we deal with our own internal mental jibber-jabber, so many people call it monkey mind. I don't experience it that way. I experience it as a place where we can do great damage to ourselves and create more shadow and create a downward spiral of disempowerment. Or we can allow ourselves to grow and spiral up, choosing self-love, self-care, and to follow the Tao, allowing ourselves to expand with love and self-care, mama medicine within ourselves, so that we may express the love, the compassion, the place of service that we are here to offer. Those are the stepping stones. And this is the place that so many people suffer in. The place where our society has taught us to look outwardly. Legacies upon legacies of religion has taught us to look outwardly, to ask a God outside of you what to do next, to beg and plead this God for mercy. Where we can begin to shift and allow God to be within us and tap into that internal power. This is where we begin to make choices to allow ourselves to grow and to no longer operate out of shadow, but benefit from healing, dissolving, resolving the shadow. And so in these times right now where so many people are suffering, wildfires all over the western part of the United States. So much happening right now for so many people, so much suffering. Is that we are here to be of service. And you get to say what type of service it is. not some external force giving you epiphanies. It is internal. Does it feel like an external source giving you epiphanies? Yeah, because it just kind of comes out of nowhere, but so does creativity. It comes from your internal space that is always generating life and love within you. This is your eternal Tao. This is your essence. This is your spark. This is the Buddha nature. This is the Christ consciousness. All within you, right here, right now, awakening even more with every day as we move forward into this new dawn on this planet. Women are diamonds, precious. And we have the facets of a well-honed, well-loved diamond if we are the ones who hone it. If we are the master jewelers that cut away the shadow, benefiting, saying, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you have offered me, and now I release you. Now you have a clean cut on the outside, and you can see that that can mirror to others what it is that you are here to mirror, as well as that it is an aspect of your womanhood. One tool that is absolutely paramount in the alignment of your self-love and self-flow is to heal what's called the mother-daughter split. And now you say to me, oh my gosh, why you got to bring my mother into this? Well, where we find the most nurturing, where we find mother, is actually in ourselves. And I'll tell you a little bit about my personal journey. I was deeply disappointed with my mother. And this, emotionally disappointed. This created a space within me where I rejected her. And as I grew into being a young woman and into a young adult, I continued to reject those places within myself that wanted to grow, where the mother within myself was trying to come online. These are archetypal pieces of a woman's journey. We have wombs, and thus we have the ability to create and birth not just children, but businesses, projects, nonprofits, books, places of service, movements, social movements, healing. This is what our womb space brings us. And so for myself to even begin to heal the place within me where I learned to mother myself and allowed that mother to be in me and to use my womb space well, had to come from healing my relationship between me and the Mother Earth. Now, I have always had reverence for our Mother Earth. She has always been one of my top favorite, most essential things in my life. I just source from her well. But I needed to create an even deeper connection. And I needed the grid of my luminous energy field to be connected deeply with her, not by someone else, where I have seen healers who do this sort of work, the work of Eric Pearl called the reconnection. You know, he talks about reconnecting the grids. And I've had that work in my life. And yes, that probably initiated these pieces. for me, but it was really where I used my own authority, my own sovereignty, and said, I will suffer no more. I need mother within me because I need to learn how to mother myself. As well as at the time, my daughter was very, very young. And for me to be able to mother her, I needed to have mother within myself. And I did not. And thus I was very depleted very early on in my motherhood to my daughter. Reconnecting to the Mother Earth, which has been nearly bred out of us, but it is always at our disposal if we walk this path of what is it that you are afraid of? And finding, and this is a shadow place, and finding the place where we can allow it to have voice and allow it to resolve and dissolve with appropriate work around that. What does this work look like? It looks like daily honoring. It looks like giving your shadow voice. It looks like crying when you need to cry, dancing when you need to dance. It looks like allowing yourself to just see your shadow without rejecting it. Seeing the things that you fear without making them wrong or judging them in your mind. Where you use a masculine blade against yourself. No longer doing that. This is the imbalance, one key places of the imbalance between the masculine and feminine within women. Where we have forgotten how to mother ourselves. Always allowing yourself to have a voice within yourself that allows you to sit back and just say, it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. All is okay. It's okay. And to feel her deep nurturing. Remember, a mother's job is to nurture, protect, empower, and initiate. That is a massive job. And the father's is to bring that protection around the mother, around the family, around the children. And so we are beings of masculine and feminine, so we can allow this to happen for ourselves. And when we do, this is where we gain real traction and alignment with our own inner voice, our own inner flow. So, if this work feels prevalent, present, applicable, if it's calling to you, yes, this is what I need, Erica. If you are feeling oversensitive and affected by your world, your inner world, and the outer world, if your relationships are not growing and they are being stifled, they are conflicting and confusing and overwhelming. If you are overwhelmed by your own need for self-care, because you just don't even have it in yourself right now to give it to yourself. I have created 4 workshops that I am offering at 2 yoga centers in Belmar and Howell, New Jersey. Now, if you are not in this area, I will be recording them and posting them to my website sometime in the future, but not right now. Right now, we need to be in person. The first workshop is September 24th. The series is called Rehab for Empaths. You, my friend, if you are listening to this, you are an empath. You are a person who is sensitive to the emotional state of another. And what happens for empaths if we are not stable, grounded, with appropriate resources, with an appropriately integritous, luminous energy field, then these times of suffering on the planet, these times of suffering individually, will overwhelm you, will blow you out. You will have no idea how to handle it. And you will only stress yourself out. Your adrenals will be in the toilet. You might be using things for comfort, like food. And you will not be able to find the consistency in your energy so that you can move forward your work of service in the world. And so if this calls to you, there will be a link to this in the show notes, but you can find this resource on my website, ericagreif.com. You can also find it under becomingluMinousWomen.com. They redirect to the same site. There you can register for these workshops. There are 4 in the series, 1 a month, September through December. They're on a Sunday, a time for you to rest and come and be in a circle with like-minded, like-hearted people working on the same pieces. And don't worry, the rooms are big and we spread out so that empaths can have their own space to heal. I hold this well, and I would be honored to have you there. We do not need to suffer. We can find peace here. We can find traction. We can find alignment. And become the people, the compassionate people who are here to serve. Right here, right now. And so with that, I want to thank you for this time together today. I want you to know that you are a brave soul. I want you to know that you are a compassionate soul. I want you to know that you are here to do great work. And I have spent the last 40 years walking this path, understanding it, so that I can be of service for you. And with that, I want to honor all those who have come around our circle here today and thank them for coming to support us, to support my words so that I may be of highest service right here, right now. And I want to thank you and your courageous spirit for being here, for taking this time for yourself, and for getting the support that you need in this time. And with that, I want to say I love you. I thank you. I feel you. And it is my great honor. Aho.